Hello and welcome to yet another YouTube video here on this channel. Today we are talking about Microsoft Loop, and if you're new to the channel, I cover productivity apps, tips and tricks, and just in general mindful productivity. Today we are taking a look at Microsoft Loop and how this works, or at least I'm going to show you some of the features, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think Microsoft Loop wants to become. Because right now, one of the biggest problems Microsoft has is that it has way too many applications. We have things like Microsoft Planner, Microsoft To Do, Microsoft Whiteboards, which I didn't even know existed until recently. There are so many Microsoft applications, which is becoming a problem. There is no way to consolidate everything into one place. That's what Microsoft wants to become, and this is mainly tailored towards teams. Like in my job, for example, we live in the Microsoft ecosystem. Everything is inside of a SharePoint or one of the Microsoft applications. This is great for those use cases to be able to consolidate everything, and also the fact that more and more people are working from home or working remotely, and this allows us to have a better information flow inside of the Microsoft ecosystem. And one of the problems Microsoft has had is that more and more people are moving away from it because of these things. They have a planner, they have Microsoft To Do, but there is no consolidation. For example, Atlassian with their Jira software as well as Confluence allows you to actually consolidate everything into this page structure. When it comes to the layout of Microsoft Loop, it is basic pages similar to Notion or even to Confluence. We have pages here, and within those pages you can have different things like a loop component or a database. You can also nest pages underneath other pages like I have done here or right here. And this is the way of organizing inside of the app. We also do have spaces, which in most cases will be used for different team workspaces. But I, as a person or as a personal user, it is only me, so I only have one workspace if I were ever to use this as my main productivity application. They have added a bit more functionality since the last time I covered this video. Or covered this application. If we go back here, you have a table of contents which is recently added. This is good for larger pages with a lot of information, and by using headers, these will appear in your table of contents like it has done right here. You can easily create headers by using Markdown if you're familiar with Markdown. So we can do hash tag and you get an H1, two hashtags is an H2 and so on. Or you can just do backslash and you will get the different headings right here. Um, it is a beautiful looking application, but there are some problems with this, which I will touch on later. One of the most important things with Microsoft Loop is the loop components that I have right here. So this is a loop component. And what's good about something like this is that it can be pasted anywhere across your workspace or across all of your Microsoft applications. So I can copy this, I can paste it into an email, I can paste it into Teams, I can paste it into whiteboards even, and I will be able to work on this from any other application. So this is good because we can use things like Microsoft Teams to actually write things down and work on something while sitting in a meeting. And then we can actually add those loop components to a page that matches. So that is really good. They have also added this team retrospective, which just is sort of a template on a Kanban board. This is mostly used by people who are in who work in sprints, so 2-week sprints or even longer than that. Then you have a retrospective where you actually go over all of the tasks and reflect on them as well. That's a team retrospective. It is quite usual to use in the Scrum framework, which many people might be familiar with, but they have added templates like this. Again, I think this is about being able to sort of get back some of the customers that have moved towards things like Confluence. And the reason for me mentioning Confluence is that Confluence markets itself as sort of an agile framework for your team, an agile software for your team, which is becoming more and more relevant for bigger teams, agile frameworks and agile working. We have databases here. As I said, these can easily be turned into a loop component. So just let me try and turn this into a loop component right here. And it is turned into a loop component. Another cool thing they have added, that isn't as recently as some of the other things, but you can do a backslash and do task list or add Microsoft Planner. So I can add Microsoft Planner right here. Then you have all of your plans in here. So in my case, I only have one Microsoft Planner board, and I can add this right here. But I can also add a task list like this, and I can start adding tasks and assigning them to myself, give them a due date. Let's say the due date is tomorrow. And the fun thing about this is that this will open up in Microsoft To Do. So everything I do inside of Microsoft Loop will also be added to my Microsoft To Do. So if we jump into the plan section right here, there should be a task here. And I will just check this off because I forgot to do that when I filmed the video yesterday, and I keep getting emails about it. But you can actually use Microsoft Loop and have things appear in your Microsoft To Do, which is great. You can also open this in Microsoft Planner if you wanted to. So if you wanted to do your tasks inside of here and open it in Microsoft Planner, you could, or you could just add the full on Microsoft Planner in here. This is actually really cool. This goes towards Microsoft being able to consolidate all of their applications inside of beautifully designed pages in Microsoft Loop. So I think that this is great for teams. A lot of people were excited about Microsoft Loop when it first came out in the productivity community, but I do not think that this will be tailored towards individuals. I think it will be more tailored towards small, medium, or bigger teams. As I said, in my day job, we use the Microsoft ecosystem, and this would actually be huge for us to be able to consolidate everything inside of different pages and be able to have nested pages as well as different workspaces for each team. So it offers a lot of the same things you would see in other applications, not necessarily Notion, because Notion is a little bit different, and I don't think Microsoft actually wants to compete with Notion. I think they are competing more with apps like Asana or things like Confluence, Jira, and so on. And if we do backslash, you can actually add Jira issues in here as well. So you could add Jira into Microsoft Loop as well. I think that's Microsoft's main competitor. I think they are going more towards Teams because this is Microsoft and Microsoft does that. But the one thing I am really scared of is that Microsoft Loop will end up like many of the other Microsoft applications, and they tend to like start an application or make an application and then end up abandoning it. That's something I am really scared of because again, it is Microsoft, they tend to do that. But hopefully, and I think that this will be the consolidation tool between all of the other Microsoft applications, which is huge, especially for Teams. But this is possible to use as an individual as well. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. The only thing I wanted to add is that Microsoft Loop doesn't yet feel like a finished product. So this Microsoft Planner widget I've added right here, or loop component I've added right here, uh, actually wasn't available for me just yesterday when I tried to film this video. So I went back at it today, and without doing anything, it was suddenly available for me. And if you go back and watch the video, you can see that I am a little surprised because this wasn't actually available yesterday. This is also a Microsoft Loop component, so I could add this into Whiteboard as well. If you have any questions, again, feel free to leave them down below and I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope to see you again quite soon.